Lori Hybe, Chris Harrington, and Aaron Courtney, three broads, bringing you stories and strategies exploring manufacturing topics that challenge the status quo while laying the foundations for future success. Together with special guests, they'll celebrate what's working and unpack what is not, so you can learn, grow, and succeed. You want to learn more about your hosts? Make sure to listen to episode 1.
All right, ladies. So, what's something new that you're learning right now? How to do?
Google Analytics 4.
Wow, that's exciting.
God. Why? We don't want to put people to sleep. Come on.
Mine was way worse.
Learning. It's new for me.
How's it going?
It's tough. It's different. I feel like I can go down into a rabbit hole really fast as I start to learn new things.
Mhm.
But the great thing is that ChatGPT is helping me understand where to go. So I'm getting the opportunity to use AI to help me learn a different thing. So,
Well, AI is way more exciting than Google 4. Aaron, what about you?
So I'm not really into games. I'm traditionally just like, I don't know. I have better things to do with my time, but my kids, they suck at math. I'm just going to put it out there. They're not doing well. So I'm learning some games that I could play with them, some like math games. And we just started one called Skyjo. Have you ever heard of this game?
No, but I thought of number crunchers right away when you said that.
Oh, you'll have to tell me about that after.
Oh, I played it when I was like in third grade on
okay.
for math.
Like I go take a
Was
look
it
at
a board game?
No, it was a computer game.
Were you good at math?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it worked. Yeah, no, the Skyjo is really fun. I would recommend it it's just like easy to pick up. It's got some strategy, it's got some math, and I'm ready for more games. So Number Crunchers, that's next on the list.
Oh, I don't even know if it's still around, but I'm learning French.
Wow.
Yeah, weird. I'm
doing
going
what?
there. I'm learning French.
France.
On
français.
I don't even know what that means yet, but
I
I'm
don't
just kidding. It is hard. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm using Babbel. I tried Duolingo for Spanish, and it was good, but not great. So I've got 2 years until I'm going to go. I know I've got to pick your brain on your your most recent trip, but that's for another time. Let's dive into the show here. So today we are recording in front of a live audience at the Podcast Town Festival put on by Elsie, the Mayor Flanard. Thank you so much for inviting us to participate.
Yeah.
Super fun to be here. We do not have a guest today, but we've done this before where we're talking about a really interesting article. And our rock star assistant, Becky, found this article. Women are more likely to find career satisfaction in manufacturing is the title. It was posted earlier this year on the Supply and Demand Chain Executive website, and we'll definitely include the link in the show notes as always. But basically, it was a study that was completed in partnership with Exometry and Women in Manufacturing.
Yay,
we love this
women.
organization.
Shout out to women.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go through a couple of the interesting findings and data points, and then just kind of let's have some open, honest conversation about this. So
Yes.
interesting enough, overwhelmingly majority, 79% of the women that were interviewed said they were satisfied with the progress they've made in the manufacturing industry over the last 5 years, up 62% from 2020, the last time that data point was collected. So I want to discuss what do you think are the key factors contributing to this satisfaction?
Well, I've got 3 words.
Okay.
Opportunity, opportunity, and opportunity. You know, we've spoken to a lot of women on this show, many women in manufacturing, and to a person, they feel satisfied, they feel excited about their work, and they see an exciting future for themselves. So it's that opportunity that manufacturing is giving these women that I think it's a direct conduit to that sense of satisfaction.
Yeah. So I had on my notes opportunities.
Oh.
It really is.
Wait,
So I'm like the 4th emphasis there, but no, it's true. When they get in, they see the opportunities. And I know we're going to talk a lot about how do we recruit them and other things. But once they're in, that's when they realize that these organizations typically want to invest in them. They give them great benefits. They give them great opportunities to travel, to learn new things. They invest in their training. They offer them 401k packages. They get health insurance in different ways. It's really fun to work in a manufacturing environment, and they often give you the opportunity to grow. That's something that I personally can say I had in my own experience. So I think when women go in, they are satisfied. It's getting them there. That's the challenge.
Yeah, I know you've talked a lot about your personal experiences on past episodes and how you've used the word opportunity numerous times. So I love that. The survey also talked that women are actually more likely than their male counterparts to recommend a career in manufacturing. I think it aligns with that conversation around opportunity very well. The president and founder of Women in Manufacturing was quoted in this article. We firmly believe in the transformative power of women to drive the manufacturing industry forward. I love that.
Yeah,
I think that's a great quote and aligns with that statement of opportunity. All right, so I've got a couple more stats here. More than 2/3 of women, 71%, said they did not intentionally choose manufacturing as their
that
field
was
of
so
choice.
interesting.
Yeah.
Very relatable, though.
I thought that was really interesting. And that most women report entering manufacturing through job postings, co-op programs, and recruitment, where men join the industry through family businesses, apprenticeships, or internships. So that being said, I know we talked about the opportunity, but what are some of the barriers that women are facing when entering manufacturing, and how can we address these challenges?
Yeah, I'll start on this one. I think that the cultural barrier exists. You know, it's just not, many women aren't told as younger girls as they're coming up in school that manufacturing or all of the opportunities within manufacturing are a welcome place for them and their career. So culturally, we are overcoming perceptions around manufacturing that it's dirty, it's difficult, only men do it.
Boys club.
That stigma, yes, is something that we continue to overcome. And until you meet and see women in manufacturing, I think that's another barrier, is seeing and having women be visible so that, younger girls or young women who are entering their careers are seeing these opportunities and seeing other women do it and share their stories. Certainly WIM is a place where that's happening for sure for women that are already in, but how do we start that education earlier and get that visibility earlier? I think that's some of them.
Yeah, it almost goes back to the previous question. And something that we've observed is that, well, the entire globe is going through a lot of change, but manufacturing in particular, it's both slow to change and having a lot of change forced on it. And what's interesting about having women in manufacturing is that they're essentially change agents. So they're already different than the past because there's, historically not been as many women in manufacturing. They go in without any of those expectations, without any of those old ideas about how things have always been done, because this is new for them. And along with that, the entire industry is going to evolve, in which it is going to make it a better place for women to be working and for more women to understand that they do have a place in manufacturing. So there's sort of like this shift that we've talked frequently about the digital infrastructure and how that's informing manufacturing, about automation and how that's informing manufacturing. These cultural changes also are going to be having a big impact on manufacturing as well. And I think they're really all just a part of the same massive change that's undertaking the industry.
Yeah, so I want to go back to the stat that the majority of women are entering manufacturing through job postings and whatnot, where men, it's the relationships. So I think that's something interesting where men should be more advocates to trying to recruit and elevate women in the industry as well.
Oh, great point.
I think that's a really good point. Yeah.
That being said, I mean, the majority of companies, especially in the manufacturing space, have significant labor shortages and are really having challenges attracting and recruiting talent. So what do you think is necessary in the manufacturing sector to really focus on pulling in more women in this space?
I was thinking about this question earlier, and it brought to mind this story I heard recently. It was just in the news about a window screen manufacturer in Alabama called Pfeiffer. And they're doing something like quite revolutionary, actually. It sort of surprised me. They are offering a complete healthcare package to their employees. So they have a clinic that's essentially is on site. There you pay nothing when you visit this clinic, and the savings that company has seen through offering that direct service healthcare has been enormous. They've turned that savings around. This is just almost makes me want to cry, to developing summer camp programs for the children of the employees at that company.
Love that.
And feeding dollars into college funds for their employees.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Women are going to wake up and pay attention when they hear about that. And I think that is an awesome model for not every manufacturer. They're pretty large. Not every manufacturer can afford to implement something like that. But look at that model. Look at the ways that you can improve life outside of the factory for these families and demonstrate how committed you are to families. You're going to see women knocking down your door.
Yeah.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
Totally. So, I'm going to go on a little tangent because what you're talking about is self-funded insurance. And this is something that I think more and more companies are looking at investing in and setting up. It is a significant amount of time and energy to do it the right way, but it can be extremely lucrative for the business because they're saving so much money by managing it themselves, which gives them the flexibility to be creative to ultimately attract amazing talent to their organization.
Exactly. And this is a great case in point. And I'd invite people to look a little bit more closely at Pfeiffer.
Yeah. We had a chance to read that article together, and I think we had some great insights come out of that. I would just share that the manufacturing industry, they need to continue to be a part of the community. And that community involvement is how people become aware of the organization and then have an ambition to participate. I've shared this story in the past, but for me, the local manufacturer in our area here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, they awarded athletes in their senior year. It was called Student Athlete of the Year, and they gave it to one male and one female out of every school in all districts in the area. And they invited us in. They had a great dinner for our parents. We got this award, but we had an amazing speaker. And later I went and worked for that manufacturing organization.
Wow.
So those are the stories. I think that's a real story. Just become part of the community and people will have that awareness.
Yeah. And that's brand awareness, which is something, I love to talk about. And it's most people are familiar with the consumer facing brand. So they're not really aware of all of these companies that are behind the scenes making these amazing products and helping our world continue to function. But yeah, getting involved in the community, that's a really easy way to create that awareness that you exist and you're doing awesome things, not just for the community, but for the world.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. What advice would you give to women who are considering a career in manufacturing based on some of the things we discussed today?
I want to hand that over to you, Chris, because you have such an awesome story of your firsthand experience.
Yeah. I mean, if women are listening today that don't know anything about the manufacturing industry, I would just say, go meet somebody, look into the local organizations. Most cities have manufacturers within them. And if you looked at the products that your own city is manufacturing and where those products are going in the world, and, there's all types of manufacturing, right? There's manufacturing of spaceships, there's manufacturing of transportation, there's manufacturing of components that go into spaceships or transportation. It's so deep and wide, and the opportunity is really big. So I guess my message is just do it. If you're looking for a career, you're not satisfied. Women are saying they're satisfied when working in manufacturing. So if you're not satisfied, and they're also saying that they need workers, they need qualified people, they're looking for talent. If you're a hardworking individual and you're looking for a career that can take you places, go check out your local manufacturing organizations and see what's out there, see what opportunities might be there for you.
Yeah. That's great advice. What about you, Lori? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the informational interview. If I'm curious about something, I find someone that's already wearing that hat or has walked in those shoes already, and I just ask for an opportunity to chat, ask them questions. How did they get in that role? What inspired them? What education, that they took, or what is it they love, or what do they not like about the experience? And the more that you kind of get that information, the easier it is for you to make that decision on what path you're going to pursue. But I would say, especially women that are walking in these shoes are probably going to be bigger advocates than not. When you say, hey, I'm interested in learning about this as a potential career path, can I grab a cup of coffee with you and, pick your brain for 30 minutes? I would say 90% of the time people are going to say yes to that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Agree. I mean, that's great advice all around. I'm just sort of going to make an assumption here, going all the way back to the beginning of our conversation, where we learned that for a lot of the men are getting these roles through their relationships, through their history, their work history, maybe their family history, and women are applying through they see an ad or a job board. Go around that, circumvent that. Don't wait. Just like what you both are saying, be assertive, make that phone call, step into that office. You'll be so surprised at just the delight, I think, that you'll discover when you show interest in manufacturing, not because you're a woman, but because this is an awesome industry that is underappreciated, I think, generally. And you'll find, I think you guys would agree, anytime you talk up a manufacturer about their industry, about what they do, you're going to have a person that is lit up. So go do that. It'll be a fun conversation. You'll learn a ton. And chances are, within 3 weeks of that conversation, you're either going to be asked for an interview or told about a job opportunity that you didn't know about otherwise. So I think it's a little bit of, get up and go, right?
I'm also going to advocate for just finding organizations. I know we already mentioned them, but Women in Manufacturing is a national organization that's advocating for women in manufacturing. And they have this amazing educational program that I think we all just kind of learned about fairly recently, where women that are working on the manufacturing floors that have shown signs of leadership abilities, they're training them through this foundation to help them elevate their careers in the manufacturing space. And I think that's absolutely amazing that they're doing that.
100%.
So the article also said that 90% of women and 67% of men believe diversity improves business outcomes. And when I think about that, it's more than just women and men in the workplace.
Yep.
So how do you think they meant, when they talked about diversity, what does that mean to us sitting here? Because we're just approaching it from the women and the women's satisfaction, but that's a high rating that diversity improves the workplace. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm going to relate it to traveling. I have more appreciation for humanity and the world the more that I travel and experience different cultures, norms, food, cities, history, whatever it is. And I have greater respect for that. And I think the more that you see and experience things that are outside of your normal comfort zone, it elevates you, makes you a stronger person, a broader person. I'll emphasize the broad part. But no, I think that it makes everyone more respectful, which ultimately respect is a critical component in a good culture.
This is a great question, almost worthy of its own episode. I'm thinking about the history of the United States and of a golden era of manufacturing, during which immigrants from other places came to the United States. They were an absolutely vital force in manufacturing. We had the migration of Blacks from the South coming to the North, being a vital part of the workforce for manufacturing. During that era, when there were all of these people with these incredibly diverse histories mingling, working together, getting down in it and getting the work done, we were strong. We were strong because that diversity offered us the opportunity to get stuff done, to create a middle class that was thriving for everyone. Mm-hmm. And we got a little stagnant. We got to mix it up. That diversity is absolutely at the heart of our success, both as manufacturers and as a nation.
Amen. I wanted to bring it up because I thought it was such an important part of the article too, is that we know women are underserved in manufacturing, or underrepresented is probably the better word, but it's a lot more than just women. We have to attract a broader, more diverse workforce, and we're going to be rewarded as a nation for it.
Love that. So, thanks for bringing that.
Yeah.
Now we can switch to the second half of the show. Thanks. This part of the show we call the I Just Learned That. We're going to ask each other to finish the sentence. Chris, I just learned what? Fill in the blank.
So I was just traveling to St. Louis. I was at a conference, and it was held at the Union Station in St. Louis. And I had never been there. It was the first time that I had traveled there and, got to see this beautiful Union Station. So I just learned that it was a pretty important historical location, especially in Missouri's history, because it was a train station that in the 1920s had over 100,000 passengers a day
daily
that came through there.
Wow.
So the first train went through in 1894. It has a hotel alongside it, and that hotel used to house the engineers and the people who worked on the railroad and businessmen that would come through. So just a very, very beautiful building. If you're ever going through St. Louis, I would encourage everybody to go into the Grand Ballroom. They have this beautiful historical ballroom, and nightly, in fact, while I was there, they were doing this hourly where they would do a 3D light show
cool.
on the top of and it was played to music. So
like
it
Vegas?
just drew you in. No, it was different than Vegas. But it's just, it was a really cool place. Nice. And I had never been there. So I just learned that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was telling Chris that I've heard such amazing things about St. Louis, the city, that there's amazing things for families to do there, has an incredible, vibrant history, gateway to the West. Just, go there.
It's going through a big rebuilding phase right now, for sure.
Yeah. I would. It's a place I would go back to for personal time, not just the work time that I was there, for sure.
Yeah.
How about you, Erin?
Well, I've just started a book called River of Doubt, and it's about Theodore Roosevelt's explorations in the Amazon. And so I'm learning all kinds of things. What an amazing era just for the human spirit and adventures and so forth. Kind of a small thing, but it really touched me when Roosevelt, Teddy, was a young boy. He was quite ill, quite sickly. He had a terrible asthma, and he was sort of thin and phlegmatic. And his dad said, "You can do this. You can get well. You can be well." And just through sheer force of spirit, he became, this legend that we all just think of nothing short of masculine virility writ large through history. And he exercised, he ate very well, and he just was committed to his own wellness. And I just thought that was so inspiring.
How about you?
Yeah. So, I've been on this health journey thing for quite a bit, and I met with a nutritionist recently. And historically, anyone I've chatted with, it's calories, minimize carbs, all this, eat as much protein as possible. She was very anti-calorie counting, which was really interesting to me. But the thing that I was little light bulb, aha, exploding head emoji thing happening, you can subtract the fiber from your total carbs consumed to calculate net carbs. So when
it's like a freebie?
Yeah.
It's a gimme?
As long as you're consuming the fiber, it's reducing the carb intake consumption.
Hello, fiber.
Go fiber.
Go fiber.
She's the first one I've ever talked to, or anyone I've really had that conversation about the significance of fiber. I know I understand why fiber is important. We all understand.
Clean your colon.
Yes. But to look at it from, this is a totally different perspective that she brought to me. And I was like, interesting. So now I'm looking at the total carbs, the total fiber. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Way less carbs than I thought I was consuming.
Right. I like that too, because it's like, it's taking away that guilt thing. And instead of like, hey, there's things that you can do and also enjoy the things that you like. I think that's great.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, that's all we got planned. So any questions here from anyone? The question was, what would be the first step to getting younger gals, like elementary school age gals, interested in manufacturing? And the first thing that came to my mind was that TV show called How It's Made. I was obsessed with that show, watching that show and just seeing the production lines and the assembly. Like we all have this end product in hand. You know, we have can of soda, computer, whatever it is. But there is a whole story being told with every single product, from the materials and the equipment and the raw, original raw materials, the people behind it, the evolution of how it got to that, the designing factor and the engineering factor. There's so many different components involved in creating one specific item. And I think just showing, watching that show and helping manufacturers, this is what I'm passionate about, helping manufacturers tell that story behind that end product that's being created.
Yeah. So I'm a physical kinesthetic, which means I like to do things with my hands. So I would say have exercises where young girls have the opportunity to build something with their hands. Mm-hmm. So boys and girls are doing that together. I would also say to manufacturing organizations to bring kids in and have workshops there and have both men and women leading the conversation. So if the children are taking field trips to your manufacturing location, make sure that they see a mix of both men and women who are organizing it, doing things, because again, the visibility really matters.
I love it. I love it, ladies. This is a great question. It also brings to mind this morning, I was getting ready. And my daughter came into the bathroom and she saw me getting ready and she said, "Do you want one of my lip glosses to take?" Which was so sweet. She wanted me to look good. And then I started to talk to her about what I was doing here. And her eyes lit up, because as a little girl, your mom is a huge influence. We can just chat with kids about manufacturing. It is interesting. It is fun. Even if you're not, setting up a program or whatever, just start chatting with the kid about how do you think that thing got made with, your boys and your girls, because they are interested, but somewhere along the line, we just sort of put a curtain down between the things that we have in our lives and how they got made. And it's not just the job of a trade association or an industry executive to move this conversation forward. Everybody can do it within their own homes. And that's where kids are going to get excited about things, when they hear their parents talking about it.
All right. Thanks. 3 broads wrapping up. Go make something awesome.
Bye-bye.
This wraps up today's broadcast. If you're looking to shake up the status quo at your organization, or just want to connect with these broads, visit mfgbroadcasts.com. Contact Lori Hybe for your strategic digital marketing initiatives. Contact Chris Harrington for OEM and aftermarket digital solutions. And contact Aaron Courtney for web-based solutions for your complex business problems. We've got a great offer specifically for our listeners. You can find more information about the offers and your hosts at mfgbroadcasts.com.